Hey, sister. Thanks for being here. I'm resetting my table right now because for some reason the entire table decided to fall over like 3 minutes ago, and all of my setup just fell off onto the ground. So I'm resetting while we wait for people to gather. Hey, Brandy. Hello, other people. If I don't know you yet, I would love for you to maybe drop a little something about yourself in the comments, so I can go back and learn about who all was here. Hey, Kevin, how are you doing? I'm so glad you're watching. Hey, Rick. Yeah, Alicia, it was a great surprise. It was very loud. Flora was wondering what was going on. If you're just gathering, my table, my whole setup fell over right before I started going live. So I'm trying to get reset up, but we'll let everybody gather and then we'll get going. I hope everybody's having a good morning, maybe a little less stressful than mine, but so happy you're here. I'm gonna drink some coffee. I hope y'all are drinking coffee too. Hey, Cheryl. I'm so happy to see names that I know, but again, if I don't know you, please tell me something about yourself in the comments, where you're watching from, why you like botanical art, if you do like botanical art, or if you're just watching for fun. Whatever you like, share with me. I'm down. I'm trying to get reset up. Cheryl, I'm glad you're here too. I feel like I know we're in the same city, so I know we're kind of close, but we're still so far away. Yay, Gretchen's here too. This is so great. Good, Brandy, you've got your coffee. Awesome. I hope everybody has coffee or tea, if that's your preference, water, whatever you like to drink in the morning. I hope you have it. I'm trying to make sure y'all would really love to see what I've got beyond the screen. It's hysterical. But we're trying. This is my first live stream ever, and I'm doing it for work, the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts. My name is Laura, and I am one of the assistant curators of education at the museum. If you are just joining and I don't know you, I would love for you to tell me something about yourself in the comments and where you're watching from. I'm just going to read things as I get them. Oh, that's something I wanted to say. We noticed I did a trial run yesterday, and there's a big lag time between when y'all are commenting and I am responding. So if I seem a little off, that's what it is. I'm catching up as it shows up on my screen. But I'm so happy everybody's here. Thank you for joining. This is exciting. All right. Okay, a friend of Frank's. We love Frank. Frank is wonderful. I'm going to assume any friend of Frank's is a friend of mine. Let's see. But I hope everybody's having a good morning. I don't know how many times I can say that, but I really mean it. So I'm just going to say it a lot. All right. Let's see. What I'm actually trying to do off screen that you keep seeing me like reaching for is I've got my laptop out to see if I can watch this live stream myself, so maybe I can see what you're seeing, if that makes sense, so I can try to stay on pace with the lag. Not sure it's going to work, but I'm going to try. Oh yes, I remember. We met at Frank's party. That was fun. Hey Alice, of course. Henry the dog, that makes sense. I'm enjoying this so much, just seeing all the people. I know I'm supposed to actually like be teaching you something. I just want to have a conversation. All right, let's see. Trying to watch this here. Let's see if it's going to work. And I don't want volume. Not sure it's going to work, but okay. All right. It is 9:35. We're starting around 9:30. Got about 13 people watching right now. While more are joining, I'll just say thank you so much for being here. If you don't know me, my name is Laura. I work at the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts, and I am obsessed with all things floral and just being outside, being with nature. And that's kind of what our botanical art class is all about. Typically, we have it quarterly. We're actually coming up on our 1-year anniversary this month in April. I want to say it might even been like around like this very like not actual day, but maybe like the April 13th last year. So we were supposed to have our Botanical Art Workshop today at the museum, and as we all know, everything has changed, and we're all just kind of trying to keep up with the changes of how things are right now with staying home, being quarantined, trying to be safe and healthy and help this level out. But that doesn't mean that we can't still be engaged with each other. So that's what we were trying to do. My particular passion, as I just said, is flowers. But botanical art doesn't just have to be flowers, obviously. It's anything botanical. So plants, vegetables if you like, the leaf of the plant. I wanted to start with the idea of making sure we understand the difference between botanical illustration and botanical art. I am a painter by nature. I love painting. And drawing helped my painting immensely. I've never taken any painting classes, but I like it that way. But I took drawing in college. And it wasn't until I had drawing that my painting really clicked. So, combine the fact that I grew up just being around flowers and being outside and loving nature, and then now understanding how to draw better representative creations on paper. That's why I do what I do, which is sometimes I draw flowers, and then a lot of the times I also paint them. So botanical illustration is basically like, if you've heard the term of medical illustration, this idea of, textbook illustration where it's a reference, it's important, it has to be very precise, it needs to be accurate. And botanical art is still accurate. You are, sorry, the wind is blowing. I've already had one catastrophe if you joined after I told you. Right before I went live, my entire setup, half of the table collapsed. And so I had to very quickly rush and get everything back on the table. So I'm trying to avoid any other crazy mishaps. But botanical art is still being accurate in your representation, your drawing, your painting, but it is more about the aesthetic beauty of plants and plant life, flowers, whatever you're doing. So I'm going to get going soon. Can everybody hear me okay? Comments kind of stopped rolling in, so I want to make sure that we're still together and on the same page. While I am waiting to make sure everybody can hear me and we're good, I want to send first a hello to my sister who's watching from San Diego. Hi, Alicia. Thank you. You're so sweet. I know it's early for you. Thanks for the thumbs up. And I want to also say happy belated birthday to my friend Brandy McDermott, who is also watching. Yesterday was her birthday, and she and her husband are so lovely. He's in the Air Force, and they've only been here with us for about a year, and they're already leaving us this summer. And they've just become so engaged with the museum programs, and they come to everything, and I'm going to miss you, Brandy. But anyway, while you're still here, even though I can't see you, happy belated birthday, and I'm glad you're here, glad to know you. All right, everybody says sound is good. So I have said that botanical art, botanical illustration, they're a little different, but the idea is the accurate representation. Now I'm seeing Brandy's comments. You're welcome, and you're wonderful. Okay. And really, anybody watching is wonderful. I'm just so happy that y'all are taking an interest and sharing in this creative journey for all of us. Because again, this is way different, right? For someone who is a studio art teacher in the studio or in the classroom, talking to myself looking at a camera is a little bit unusual for me, but y'all commenting helps me feel a little bit more normal and like I'm engaging with people too. So when it came to planning out what I was going to do today, obviously I'm going to draw. Don't worry. This is not actually what I'm drawing. I just realized I don't have my tape, so I'll get that up there in a second. I was trying to approach it initially like our botanical art class that we have at the museum, but because this isn't a typical studio class, and that itself isn't really a studio class either, we go out into the sculpture garden at the museum. Everybody kind of splits up and you draw what you want, and I walk around and just kind of give individual instruction. It's really about the experience of being in nature. And so this virtual experience is intended to be a transformation of that, where we're still talking about getting into nature and enjoying it, but obviously from your backyard, as we're all trying to just stay home, right? And so I gathered some things. I am a gardener, so I do have flowers, but I also picked this really cool dandelion weed, and this is actually what I think I'm going to try to draw this morning. It's really wicked. It's got these super cool leaves. It's really leafy. Don't judge me. You can tell that means that the lawn hasn't been mowed. But my point is, you don't have to have a garden with a bunch of, well manicured growing plants and beautiful flowers. It can be something interesting like this too. But all right, I want to go over 3 things before I begin. Can y'all let me know, is anybody planning on drawing along at home? Can you show me some responses of whether it's a hand or a yes? Or are we just kind of watching just to enjoy a little bit of art and nature today? Let me know your responses. And while you're doing that, I am going to set up some proper paper, because again, I got distracted at the beginning when my whole table fell over. Yeah, how many times can I say it? Oh, Cheryl is drawing. Fabulous. Gretchen's ready. All right. Hey, Aaron. Good morning. I'm so happy to see you. Kind of. You see me. I know you're there. Makes me happy. Aaron, since you just joined, I have to tell you, y'all, Aaron is one of my colleagues at the museum. He's over our events. And Aaron, this morning, right before I was going live, my table setup collapsed and everything fell off the table. And so I'm still just kind of getting myself together from that. I swear, y'all, that's the last time I'll say it, okay? It was a very terrifying experience for me. All right, so also on that note, I had some examples and my paper has gotten a little bit wonky too, but we're gonna make it work because that's what artists and teachers do. All right. I'm still here, kind of waiting for some comments, seeing things. If you're not familiar with blue tape, painter's tape, it is one of the best creations of all time. It is specifically, it sticks and it sticks well, but it doesn't hurt your paper when you gently peel it away. And it's reusable. So as you'll see, I've got a brick wall for my backdrop, and I am taking my blue tape, retaping really fast. This is all improvised, right? In the sense of we normally have this class at the museum, and we have a studio setting if you like. And I'm doing this from my backyard. And the idea is to show you that you don't have to have a gorgeous studio and all the right materials, etc. You can have what you have at home and make some really pretty fun art. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. So if you've just joined in, I will let you know that if I don't know you, I would love to know you. So please just tell me a little something in the comments about where you're watching from, what you love about botanical art, or if you do, if it's not something you really like but you're watching for fun, what kind of art do you like? And then I will say my one question always when I do my botanical art classes at the museum is, please tell me what your favorite flower is. I have to know. I love flowers. My daughter's name is Flora. She hasn't made an appearance yet, but it's very likely that she will at some point come out here and say hello. But, all right, drink a little more coffee. I hope you're drinking yours. All right. Okay, so I'm about to get going with drawing. Can't wait to see some more comments about who you are, where you're from. I'm very happy everybody's here, even if I don't know you. My name is Laura. If you're just joining, several people just joined, so hello. So happy you're here. We discussed the difference between the idea of botanical illustration and botanical art, both being accurate representations of nature, flowers, plants. Oh, is that actually Rick or is that Steven? Who likes the peonies more? I'm very curious. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to draw an accurate depiction of a plant using lines. And that is the foundation of my botanical art class at the museum. The idea of looking closely and breaking whatever you're drawing, whatever your subject is, breaking it down by lines and simple shapes. And so that's what we are going to do. To begin with, I had two more words that I wanted to focus on today. So that was looking closely, the idea of looking closely and drawing with lines. And then the two words I came up with are calm and loose. Okay, so calm being the best way to approach what you're drawing, especially when you're drawing things in nature, right? I'm outside right now, even though I'm in Montgomery and I am also hearing cars. I am hearing birds chirping and the wind is blowing and I hear a nice breeze. It's a very calming experience to be out in nature. Even if you're inside, taking the time to slow down and look closely is very calming. And so when I first wrote that word down as something I wanted to discuss, I thought it was funny because if you do know me, calm is maybe not like what you would think of to describe me, but I'm really talking about the calm approach to drawing. The other part of calm is don't put pressure on yourself. We're going to work in pencil, and so if you don't like it, you just erase it, right? But also it doesn't have to be perfect because it's art and you just keep trying and keep having fun. The whole point is just to enjoy yourself and have a good time. So we've got calm, look closely, and then I said loose. Loose is about how we're going to draw our lines, okay? I'm going to be working with some drawing pencils. Normally, I draw very lightly and very, very, very soft and very loose. I'm going to explain what that means in a second. But since I'm going to zoom in, since you were looking here, and it's not maybe the best, you can't see it particularly well, I'm going to be using a very dark pencil to begin with. I'm going to use, let's see, I think I'll do, where's my 6B? Things got shifted when the table fell over. I'm going to use a 6B, which is a very loose lead pencil, very soft lead pencil. And what that basically means is it just you don't have to hardly touch at all, and it's going to be very dark. And then I normally draw with like maybe like a 3H, which is a very compact lead pencil. And so if you are using that softly, it's going to be very light on the paper. And so at home, that's probably what you would want to do, is you want to use a lighter, a harder lead, which gives you a lighter line. But I'm not going to say that I don't sometimes use mechanical pencils, okay? This is a great little pencil. It's fun to sketch with. You can control what your line looks like by how hard you're pressing on the paper. So, I am using watercolor paper. My intent after we draw a little bit will be to practice with have some fun with some paints too. I know I'm talking a lot, so I don't even know if I'm going to have time. Surely I will. Okay, all right, let me get to drawing because I've been talking for way too long. I could talk forever though, you all know that. All right, so I'm going to go off screen and we're going to focus on this. If you just joined, earlier I mentioned you can draw whatever you want. Doesn't have to be a, perfect flower from a garden. I'm actually going to attempt drawing this really wicked dandelion weed from my yard. It has these great leaves that are kind of drooping over. Apparently I want to challenge myself with a live audience. Sounds great. Okay. All right, so I've got it where I can see it. If you want to see what my setup is like. There it is. And I'm going to zoom in. Make sure I have it where I want it. Zooming in. Please leave me comments while I'm drawing to make sure that you can both continue to hear me and that you can see what I'm drawing. Because if you cannot see what I'm drawing, then that's a problem, right? That's the whole point of us being here. So please let me know. All right. And I also just said, in case you've just joined, that I'm going to be using a 6B pencil, which is a very soft lead pencil, so it's going to be a really dark line. Normally when I'm drawing, I would use a hard lead pencil, maybe a 2H or a 3H, because you're going to get a softer pencil line with that. But I'm using a dark pencil so that y'all can see it while I'm doing it here, so I can still draw softly. All right, so breaking it down with lines just means looking at your object really closely and starting. Okay. All right. I'm going to start at the top. You don't have to start at the top. You can start anywhere you want. You can start with a leaf. You can start at the bottom. Just enjoy yourself. Okay? Great. Can y'all see that okay? I'm drawing very softly. Let me zoom it in a little bit more. I'm not quite sure what y'all are seeing, so let me know if I need to go darker. I mentioned the idea of drawing loose. And what I want to say about that is, if you think about plants, they're not harsh. Plants are very delicate, right? And so when you draw the lines for the plants, you should be thinking the same thing. You want delicate lines. You don't want to have this, here's where it is, and it's like this. That doesn't feel like a plant. Oh, you can't see that. Ha ha ha. There it is. This is what I just said don't do. Don't do that. No, no, no. It's too harsh. You want some sweet lines, soft and delicate. All right. Oh, thanks, guys, for handling my questions for me. Thanks, Alicia. Thanks, Stephen. Yes, I'm using watercolor paper that I'm drawing on, and I'm going to be adding watercolors at some point. Okay, I'm also drawing a dandelion weed. All right, here we go. Comments on if you can see this drawing at all? A little too light, Alicia says. Okay, I'll try to draw a little harder. Do I have a darker pencil? All right. Okay. Another thing is to just trust yourself. Oh, see, look what I just did. This is a great example. So as I was saying that, people have a tendency to think that what they need to do when they draw a line is to sketch it, to make it perfect. If you'll find that if you just go for it, you're going to have better success. But if you don't have good success, like I just did there, where it got wonky, all you have to do is erase it. And you don't have a problem anymore. And if you're painting, you would just, you know, paint over it. Watercolors are a little tricky to fix, but that's why you start light and kind of build. All right, that's my stem. I'm gonna accept that. Okay, moving on to some of these really fun leaves, because that's the whole reason that I'm doing this. I think it's so much fun. I keep using the word wicked, but I really just can't think of any other way to describe this. It is so interesting to look at. And it was drooping like that in the yard too, which is what attracted me to it. So again, if y'all want to ask questions while I'm drawing, I can try to answer them. Botanical art is really about looking closely and trying to get that accurate representation. You know how a plant looks, like you know what you know it is there, but that isn't always what you're actually seeing. So it's a good exercise to draw what you actually see and not what you know is there. Like if something is circular, just because you know the shape is a circle doesn't mean that you're seeing it as a circle. You could be seeing it as an angle where it is more elliptical, or however it is that you're seeing it. All right. How we doing? How we feeling? Everybody happy? I'm glad you guys are seeing the lines better. I can try to zoom in a little bit more if that helps. This has a really awesome zoom feature. That's much better, isn't it? I hope you're having a good time, enjoying your coffee. I'm enjoying drawing some dandelion weed this morning. I keep saying weed, poor dandelion. Dandelion is a very useful herb, has medicinal properties. We should really be nicer to all that she contributes. All right. People have one of the hardest things, I would say, in drawing is the idea of foreshortening and making something also look like it's either coming at you or that it's going away from you. And really, again, all that is just time and practice and looking closely. I'm gonna say it 1,000 times, looking closely. All right. And again, that might get annoying, but all it really means is that you're just taking the time to make sure that you've got the right shapes, the right lines. What else am I missing? Okay, so up here at the top, I need a little bit more. Let me see if I can adjust it to where you can see the top better. I'm so happy y'all are here. I hope you're enjoying it. Let's see. This part is gonna go like this. And this guy's gonna come like this. And of course, it helps if you make the sounds. Okay, it always helps. All right. This one. So a fun fact about dandelions, if you did not know, they open during the day and then close at night, which I just think that's such a cool feature of some plants that they will do that and have a multi-day kind of, or multi-day lifespan. I'm not getting too, I dropped my pencil. I'm not getting too detailed on these, but I'm doing the buds right now. And basically, if you look at them, they're just kind of like a kind of ovular shape. Just trying to get a feel for what the shape is. I'm really a little bit more obsessed with the leaves. Let me see what time it is. All right, I will start painting probably in about 5 minutes. I'll give myself a little bit more time. What are you guys saying? I see Aaron's laughing. Brandy wants to go pick some dandelions. I've got plenty. Hey, you can come over here. Trust me, there are more. This was not the only one. But I will say I do have happy gardens too. So I like to balance it out, you know. Okay. A couple more of these little buds here. There's some little cool wispies going on here. There's a big one back there that I want to get. All right, I've got one leaf implied. Let me finish out that stem a little better. Let me add a couple more of these babies back here. You're a little bigger. And so that's another thing, y'all, you can adjust while you're creating. I started it, I got distracted talking, which is very normal. And so I need to go back and readjust and kind of look closer again and make sure I've got the right thing going on. I like you. Okay, so there's this one really awesome leaf at the bottom. I'm going to pull it out and show you guys. I'm going to try to draw it really fast, and then we will move on to paint. Let me see where he is. He's going to be pretty low. Make sure y'all can see that. That should be good. Okay. So you're there, and you're there. And you're going to come from back here. We'll let it go off the page, right? That's fine. That looks great. And so it's actually kind of wrapped around the stem this way. It's growing on the stem right here. So I've got to get a feel for what that sort of shape is right in there. So this is the center little line. And then over here we have more of those. Oh, now I'm drawing on the tape too because I don't want that leaf to be done. I like it so much. All right, we get the idea. Our stem continues, that leaf is wrapped around there. All right, so again, yes, I did a dandelion, but it's not in bloom right now because it's early in the morning, so the buds have kind of closed back up. But what we are focusing on today is the idea of drawing what you see and using lines to create an accurate representation. And so it's the idea of drawing it how you see it, not what you know is there. Does that make sense to everybody? I keep saying that, and that's a line that I like to use, but if that confuses you, if you're like, what are you talking about, Laura? Tell me, and I will try to explain it in a different way. Before I watercolor, I like to do ink on my pictures, so I'm going to do that really fast. This is a technical pen. You don't have to have a technical pen. All that means is it's got a very, 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 very tiny, fine little point. When I don't have a technical pen, I use an ultrafine Sharpie, and it works. There it is. It works just as well. And if you don't have any of those kind of permanent pens, then just don't do the pen step and have fun with watercolors. Okay, so you can see me. I'm gonna do that really fast on here, and then we're gonna go to watercolor. How's everybody doing? If you just joined, I'm super happy you're here, and I still want to know. Yes, I will come back in with the pen. Hi, Erin. I want to know what everybody's favorite flower is. It's just a personal thing. I like to know. Can you see that okay, Erin? Is that good? Let me know if you need anything else. I can also, like, I don't know how everybody, that's a really good question. How did you find out about this? Did you find out about it through Instagram, through Facebook, wherever? But what I can do is we can put out a list of like the actual materials that I used, things like that, like brand name, if you would like those. Okay, so moving on. I will go ahead and tell you that my ink lines are not always right where the pencil lines were, but that's okay. All right. And again, I'm trying to be loose. Even though I'm using an ink pen, I want it to be light. Keep that delicate nature of the plant there. It's not going to be a harsh straight line. It's going to have a curve. It's going to have a little bit of a wobble to it probably. soft edges. What other kind of fun, delicate word can I use? And I know you probably can't see this very well right now, but I'm not trying to do anything that is that important. I just want to have a little bit more of a conversation with you. More peonies and more hydrangeas, awesome. Looks like a lot of people found out through Facebook. I'm so glad you're here. Do I use a pen over pencil for effect? Yes, I do. It's a personal preference. You don't have to do it. I use it because I like the way it keeps the original line there when I use watercolor. And again, it's just a personal thing. I have found, because watercolors are so lovely and soft, I have found that I like my drawings, and so I like to keep that original linear aspect there. Yes. Am I outlining everything? Sort of. Essentially, yes, but I'm not like doing it bold. So I will erase away the pencil after I outline with the pen, and you'll see what I mean in a second. I'll show you. So I'm just doing it really fast. And apparently that one's not working. So I'm going to move on to the Sharpie. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. If you just joined, does pencil hold up when wet? Yes, it will. It's not going to wash away unless you like take water and like are, trying to scrape it off. But especially if you're using a hard lead pencil, so like a 2H, 3H, HB, the pencil won't wash away. If you're using a soft lead pencil, like a B and up, then that will probably bleed a little bit more. All right. Again, per usual, I'm talking too much, although I'm having a really good time, and I hope you guys are too. And also let me know in the comments if you want us to do this again in a couple of weeks, because I'd be down if y'all are. I believe we will also be making this live stream recording available after we're done. So if you want to go back and watch from the beginning to get everything. What type of paint tape am I using? I always just call it blue tape. And I don't have the roll in front of me because I took it in last night and I forgot it this morning. I want to say that for some reason, don't laugh at me, y'all, 3mm is standing out, and I don't know if that means anything or not, but I know it's the one that I always have to, I'm getting distracted by my sister, you guys. It's the best one, so I will find out, and that will also be in the, let me tell you what materials I used, recap. Because there are some blue tapes that aren't good. They either don't stick at all, and so it defeats the whole purpose, or they tear at the paper when you pull it. So, zoom in on my tracing. I would love to. Oh, what type of paint will I be using? Sorry for misreading that. Thank you for sending it again. I will be using a combination watercolors. Some are super inexpensive Target brand. And the other are a more professional that I will show you in just a second. Let me do this really fast. Can y'all see that okay? Let me move my hand so you can actually see what I'm doing. Again, going pretty fast. So the reason, somebody asked if I was going to go over every single line when I was tracing, and I said, no, not really, but essentially. You see how I'm doing it fast, so I'm keeping the loose effect. I find that when you use a pen, it's going to look a little bit of it'll be a harder edge naturally. And so I like to try to go faster with the pen to keep it loose, if that makes sense. All right. Where else? I need to get over here. get these guys really fast, and then we can move on to paint, y'all. And so what I'll do is I'm going to erase the pencil, and if I feel like I need to kind of redraw anything with the pen, I will. Sorry, y'all, someone was calling me. Hope I didn't disrupt too much. Where's my eraser? There it is. All right. Making sure it's dry before I erase. Nothing is worse than having something outlined and then when you go to erase, it smudges. So making sure it dries before I erase. Is that type of pen available in Michael's? I would guess so. I normally get mine at Hobby Lobby, but that is not a plug. I like Michael's just as much. And like I also just said, when I can, I even get art materials from Target because they are very inexpensive. So let's do this really fast. At the museum, we order from Dick Blick a lot. And obviously, that's because we're buying supplies in bulk. But you can also purchase from them if you're just doing, you know, personal purchasing. And they've got quite a variety as well. All right, so you can see it's not perfectly sharp. I'm trying to get it to focus. For some reason, it won't. Is that a little bit better? Yeah. All right, how does that look to everybody? Are we ready to paint? Y'all let me know. I'm ready to paint. So what I'm going to do is I need to move the camera. So bear with me, and then we'll start discussing paints, okay? This is a great time for a coffee break, okay? Okay, so I'm going to pull this down, move it over. Somebody said no video or sound. Can y'all hear me? Did I lose you? Did I lose sound? Aaron, that's a no, meaning what? I did not lose sound, or you can't hear me or cannot? Okay, great. Thank you. Somebody else said that they love my earrings. Thank you very much. Great. Okay, everybody can hear me. That's good. Okay, good. Brandy, you said focusing on contour lines, and the answer to that was yes. Not doing any little details in there, just focusing on the general drawing that I did. Okay. All right, so I'm going to lay this down. How am I doing on time? Okay, yeah, we're good. I could have probably talked a little less, but you know, that's life. All right, that's very close on my face. I'm moving my plant, getting my paintbrushes. Hi, ooh, still too close, hello. Okay, moving this. All right, now what I'm gonna do, y'all, is try to get the camera positioned to where you can see my hand while I'm working in the paint and see the paints. I think I figured this setup out right. Again, this is my first live stream, so we're doing this together. We're gonna figure it out. Hold on. Back there, zoom in. Move this over here. Nope, 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 nope. Oops. I apologize, y'all. There we go. Okay. Looks like that will be where y'all can see it best. I can move that if I need to. And then move that back. How's that? Can we see that okay? Do y'all like that angle at all or no? Move it back a little bit more. What do you think? Will that do, y'all? People are giving me hearts, so I'm hoping that means good. And yeah, it's okay. So yes, it's sideways. I don't know how to fix that at the moment. I'll try to figure it out for next time. Okay, all right. So you asked about the kind of paints. I'm not going to try to pronounce that brand. Can you see that? When I am feeling like splurging on good stuff, these are the kind of watercolors that I get. And when I am happy to have any kind of art supplies and they still work great, Target's art brand works really well too. So I'm trying to read comments sideways and still do this. Thank you, Brandy, for sticking with me, even if it is sideways. Okay. All right, we just say Academy. Good, I can totally do that. I also wanted to show you that if you don't have the watercolors in a tube, that watercolors this way that we all are familiar with from childhood work really well too. Don't knock them just because they come in a different form. What makes a watercolor work, obviously, is water. I am not even going to use proper watercolor brushes today because things are crazy right now and I can't find mine. So I'm just going to use some very thin acrylic brushes, but that's okay for what we're doing, okay? You can use acrylic brushes for watercolor. You cannot use proper watercolor brushes for acrylic. All right, let me show you my beautiful paint display. Oh, can you see that? So I've got my paints. Some are pre-mixed in an egg carton, which is a really great thing to do with tube watercolors because when they dry, you just leave them in here and then you add water when you want them again. All right, let's get to it. Let me get some water and some green and play with some colors. So right now I'm just putting water in my paints. If you're familiar with watercolors, you know how translucent they are. They're very delicate. It's a really lovely paint substance. Kind of reading comments sideways. All right, y'all are fun. This is a good group. I hope you're having a good time. Let's see. Let's get some color on. There we go. I would also love for y'all to leave in the comments if you do want to have another session, any area of focus that you would like to talk about or anything you'd like to learn about, because I'm here for you, for us to have fun together. Okay. Adjusting just a little more before I paint, so hopefully you can see it better. I hope this works. Is that okay, y'all? I hope so. Okay. All right, let's just get some color on. So the whole point of watercolor is that it's just this soft, gorgeous material. I am painting wet right now onto dry. That means that my paper is dry. I've not wetted my paper, but I'm working with a wet paint. This is a great technique to use when you want good control over where your paint and your brush are going. It gives you, I'm kind of just having fun with colors, y'all. It gives you a hard line, which I know I've been saying the entire time I don't want a hard line, but the whole point here is that I want control over this paint. I don't want it to get wild. Trying to read some comments. Everybody doing well? All right, so things to keep in mind, again, just because I'm painting doesn't mean I don't need to keep looking closely. You can't see it, but right here, I've got the same dandelion that I drew. So that will keep me accurate with my representation also. Something you want to keep in mind is, so this leaf is coming over the stem, so it's going to have some shadow underneath the leaf, right? I'm going to play with colors a little bit. I'm making a nice, deeper kind of blue-green for my shadow. Just right under there. And then I kind of want to wash it out. So I'm getting a clean brush. There we go. All right, pull that up here. Let's get some more green. Everybody still having a good time? I hope you're there. Hope you're having fun. Another great watercolor technique that is fun to do is wet paint onto a wet paper, which lets the paint bleed. And I'll show you what that means. All right, so I'm gonna switch my focus. Can y'all see? I'm painting right here. Can you see that okay? All right. So I'm gonna take my water and I'm just putting water right here onto what I'm about to paint. It's already picking up some of the other paint. And I'm gonna get some of my fun greens in there. I want a little bit more of my yellowy green and just kind of let it bleed in. And that is a very soft effect, kind of like those loose lines we were doing. Oops. But y'all, it doesn't have to, like I said earlier at the very beginning, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're here to enjoy nature and have a nice time and just kind of keep ourselves healthy and sane during this quarantine. How are we feeling? Everybody happy? I hope you're still having some coffee, having a good time. How am I doing on time, speaking of that? Alicia Linder, please tell me how I am on time. That's my sister, y'all. That's why I'm allowed to talk to her like that. I did not give her full name. Normally I would. All right. It's a little bit windy, so I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having some trouble with my paints staying in place. My egg carton. Let's see if I can put some weight on it. There we go. All right. Can y'all still see okay? That might be better. Darker green underneath. If you're painting with me or if you were drawing with me, I hope you're having a good time and enjoying this. I'm reading your comments sideways, so I'm trying to stay on top of what you're saying. Thank you for the encouragement. Y'all, I didn't play any music because I was watching a live stream of this floral designer that I like a lot, and she did music, and I couldn't hear anything she said. And so I made the decision to not do music because I feel like it might distract. Oh, that won't work. I thought the music might distract, you know, as I put my hand in front of the camera where you can't see it. So right now I'm just doing a darker blue-green to indicate some shadows. Those might be a little bit heavy, but they're fun. And I can, if they are too heavy, I can just bleed them out a little bit, getting a clean kind of damp brush. Just kind of gonna soften those up. There we go, that's nice. The birds are lovely music. I agree, Cheryl, thank you. I feel the same way. Did I ever get my time check? Let me see what time it is. All right, so it's 10:24. I'm supposed to go for about 6 more minutes. I will try to finish this, and if I go over a little bit, I apologize. If you want to hang out with me a little longer, I'm going to be here. So, again, if you joined a little later, please leave a little comment about who you are, where you're from, where you're watching from, and what your favorite flower is, because I just like to know that. And if you would like to watch another backyard botanical art, if you have something you want to learn about, or if there's any kind of content you would like to see, leave that in the comments as well. So I'm getting really loose with my painting up here on the little buds, because to me, they're not the focus. That's another thing, y'all, that I learned when I took drawing in college, that you don't need to make every single thing perfectly realistic. You want to kind of try to hone in on where you want the eye of the person looking at your artwork to go. Pick the part you want to be the emphasis, which for me, with this dandelion, it was the leaves, because I just think they're so cool. So I'm not trying to make the buds perfect. That needs to be more yellow, not green. Let's see. I'm continuing to look at my inspiration, my dandelion, while I paint, just like when I was drawing. Got to keep looking closely to make sure you're doing it right. I will say that, as I said a second ago, I'm not doing like a perfectly accurate color representation, but I still want to keep like my my lights and my shadows accurate. I got to stop doing that. I'm gonna have to turn this so I can paint the way that I want to. Let's see. Okay. There. How's that? How's everybody doing? I'm looking sideways. It's funny, Cheryl, that I got so caught up in the art that I kind of zoned out and I wasn't really hearing the birds anymore. And then I read your comment, and now all I hear is the birds, which is lovely. I'm really enjoying them. I just think it's funny how our brains can zone out when we're creating. I'm going to call that almost done, y'all. Let's see. Not really a super fan of that color, so I'm going to try to mix it up a little bit. Get a little more yellow on there. Woo! All right. Yeah, we'll take that. Okay, let's see what we got. I was applying the paint very lightly, so it should be drying very quickly. I'm going to move you up. Oh, there's the gorgeous sky. Oh, isn't that lovely? All right. And there I am again. Hi, guys. I'll put you right back here on my prompt. This is what we got. Let's zoom in. It could take a little more work. Oh, I totally missed this right here, but I was kind of trying to finish on my time. But so, before I run out of time, y'all, thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed it, and we plan to do this again in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks from today. I will say that on this same live stream feed, the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts Instagram feed, we are going to have a new program we're starting next week around the same time. It'll be starting at 10 in the morning, and it's called Local Artists Live. And our first artist next week is going to be the one and only Madison Fell. He's a Montgomery artist. So please tune in again. I won't be with him, but I will be one of y'all kind of talking and asking questions and stuff. But as for botanical art, backyard botanical art, 2 weeks from today, we will have another session. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I can't wait to go through and read the comments and see where you're from, and I hope you had a really good time. Let me know what you want to see in a couple weeks, and everybody have a great day. Stay healthy, stay safe. Draw some stuff, paint it, and then post it so I can see it. Okay. Thank you so much. We've got 14 seconds, so I'm just going to kind of read what you are saying, and I'm going to drink some more coffee.